Welcome back to Boy with a Heart. Today's episode, I'm actually recording in my vocal studio. I figured I have the equipment for it. I might as well record with my nice microphone so you all can be blessed by the high quality. So last episode left off end of freshman year. Today's episode deals with church camp girls. We have two the same summer. My family went there. It was in the mountains. It was like a family camp, so you were staying with your family, but then you'd also go off in the day, separate into your different age groups, do your different activities. And this girl, we'll call her Jezebel. So Jezebel was in the same group as me. So there were guys and girls mixed together, and she had fiery red hair. Okay, I take that back. It was like fiery blonde red hair. Strawberry blonde, maybe? It wasn't like Natasha red. It wasn't like I immediately was like, wow, this girl, I'm into her. Like, we hit it off. Like, we spend time together through the camp and doing the activities together that by the end of the week, I was like, dang, I think I have a crush on this chick. And she lived in Utah, which is, albeit is not terrible. You know, I came to Utah a lot, so realistically I could maybe have a relationship with her, do some long distance. I doubt any of these things I was thinking while I was, keep in mind, I'm 15 now. I wasn't really thinking that stuff. I was just like, I liked her. And the camp comes to an end, and she's gonna leave. And I'm like, oh man, I hate missed opportunities and having regrets in life. So I was like, I gotta get her contact information. I want to see if this is going to go anywhere. And so I totally do. I totally get her Snapchat and then, post her little like end of the week recap. I think she posted a photo or something too. But in all honesty, it wasn't really more than that. Occasionally like hit each other up, chat when I'd come to Utah. We never actually met up again. She ended up getting like a boyfriend. Seemed like every time I came to Utah, she had a boyfriend. So it never happened. But it was a fun week. So I remember the week. What I learned from this girl is that sometimes distance or circumstances in life just prevent you from having a relationship, or prevent you from getting closer to someone. I've done long distance before. I don't want to say that you can't have a relationship and friendships long distance because some of my closest friends don't live next to me. And people I care about like in relationships have lived way farther than my home. I'm just saying that sometimes the chemistry is there, but life circumstances and distance affect if you actually would date. That's the unfortunate, sad truth. If both people aren't willing to make it work because of the distance, then you're not going to have it work because of the distance. Now, the next girl I talk about is also at a church camp, and it was a couple weeks later. It was at my church's school. We were also put into groups. We'll call her Macy. So Macy was Latina. This is the first Latina that I had feelings for. It was me and Macy and this other guy that just hit it off, all three of us the first day. And it was like we were our own group the entire week, from talent shows to dances to pictures to games to lunch. We were just inseparable. And I remember this phrase. It was after the first devotional, the first day, that I was sitting next to Macy, and it was time to go to classes, and she looks at me and she says, I guess I'll just follow you around. And that right there, my guys, I was in heaven. I was like, this nice Latina girl is wanting to spend the whole day with me? Like, okay. Yeah, the other guy was there for it too, mostly just because we were in the group of three. But I was the one that started with her, so I have that to say. It wasn't even like a thing. Like, I talked to Macy and this other guy, we'll call him Tanner. So it was me, Macy, and Tanner. I liked her. Pretty sure the other guy liked her too. And I was just going about, how was I going to get her alone to like make a move? Now, funny enough, we did get alone halfway through the week because she forgot something. So I said I'd walk back with her. So it was just us two, and we were just talking about her life. Again, I'm 15. I'm not trying to just like throw myself at her. I'm trying to get to know her. She's cool, Latina. What else do you need? She's kickboxing. I was like, that's pretty hot. There was one night that I snuck out of my dorm after curfew. I was going to go over to her dorm. She had a sore throat, and so I was going to bring some honey. And so I left my dorm, and I was walking to the creamery or to some store on campus that was going to be open, but it was after 10. And as I'm like halfway there to what I thought was going to be the creamery, I get stopped by a random just other counselor that's wandering the streets, and they're like, hey, where you going? Like, what's your company? Like, yada yada yada. And I was like, oh man. The last thing I wanted to say was I was gonna go to a girl's dorm. So I was like, yeah, one of my friends is just feeling sick and I wanted to get them some honey for their sore throat. And they're like, oh, what's her name? And I didn't want to lie, so I gave him a nickname that could be gender neutral. I said, we call him MK. Funny enough, that was actually her nickname, not her alias that I'm using here. I know I said her name is Macy. So I said the name is MK, and they're like, oh, they think I was like a nice guy, gonna go get some honey for my friend. And like, yeah, all the stores are closed, so I'll just walk back with you to your apartment. And I was like, great. Nothing more than that, but my whole idea about bringing my girl some honey and seeing her at night got shut down. But I did try, and she thought it was sweet. Got me some brownie points. The end of the week rolls around. We're taking final pictures together as like a big company, and the other guy, he puts his arm around her. She doesn't push it off, and I was like, I missed my chance to make my move. She's into him, you know, whatever. The other guy was blonde too. That was the worst part. We were equally top tier blondes. Could have gone either way. I was more of the innocent church boy. She knew that, and this other guy, he'd done a lot. It made sense that she would go for him. It was just frustrating. You know, I liked her, and I thought being this sweet, innocent church boy would be enough. And what I've come to learn is that that's not always the first thing girls look for. You know, you gotta be cool, you gotta be chill, you gotta know your stuff. And then when you're church boy too, it adds to it, if that's what they're looking for. So it's the last night. She can kind of tell like something's bothering me. We're in a big circle, but we're not sitting next to each other. And I was just thinking the whole time, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna see her after tonight, because we're going to go home the next morning. What am I going to do? I want to make my move. Maybe it's not done. Like, okay, I'm going to kiss her. And we had this thing in the week, put all your fingers straight and jab it to the other person's stomach. And it'd be like, just like a fun thing. We'd say a word. I don't remember the word because it was so long ago, but we just like do that. Just like a love tap, but like a little push in your stomach. So I was going to do that. And then just go in for the kiss. And then the group disperses. I hadn't said anything. I was really quiet. I was just playing with the grass. She could tell I was kind of down. I go up to her. And then I do the tap, and then I just can't kiss her. I can't do it. And then I'm just like, ah. So I just gave her a hug, and then I said, like, I miss you so much. I just said something like that. It ended like that, and we were super great friends after. Honestly, I think if I would have kissed her, it might have thrown things off. So I'm happy that I didn't, but also it's one of those, like, what could have happened? She didn't know that I liked her. She didn't know I was going to kiss her. I told her 2.5, 3 years later that I was into her and that I was going to kiss her that night. And she was so surprised. That being said, you know, I'm all about people shooting their shot. But when there's someone else involved, like the other guy, you know, you got to also understand they have their feelings. So I don't want to make her choose, right? We were both long distance. It's not like we're going to date. So where was it going to go? A friendship, long distance, and when I come to Utah, and that's what it was. I want to find some other lesson to gain from this. Sometimes things just don't work out because of distance. Sometimes there's another guy, and sometimes you're just meant to be friends. Be respectful, value their time. The golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated. We're getting closer and closer to home every time we talk, because each episode brings us closer and closer to my newer ones, which, albeit we still have a ton of relationships to talk about, but we're getting there, and so the memories are getting stronger. I'm just going to wrap this up with a nice little bow. Be your truest self. It's been real, guys. YOLO. Peace.
Says MK. I'll be waiting. But I'll miss your jokes. And I'll miss your dating. This was by far the best week of my life. I only thought it would have been alright, but you made it way more fun. Expectations to the sun. This was by far the best week of my life.